The Cincinnati Reds cannot mess up yet another chance to lock up one of their young studs.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi there, welcome in. Thanks for being an everydayer, and thanks for helping make Locked On the #1 sports podcasting network in all the land. I'm Stephen Offenbaker. That's Jeff Carr. And on today's show, a little bit later, we're going to talk about the return of the flowing locks that are Rhett Lowder. He will be back in the rotation this weekend. Is it too soon? I don't know. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. We're also going to talk about where the Reds are in the grand scheme of things in Major League Baseball. Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Are they a contender? Are they just here? A lot of questions to answer with how the Reds are positioned and how they see themselves right now in the world of Major League Baseball. But where we are going to begin is with Rookie of the Year candidate Sal Stewart, who is in that conversation for Rookie of the Year, has had a great start to his first full season in Major League Baseball. But the Cincinnati Reds, specifically President Nick Krall, say they need to see more before they consider Sal Stewart for a long-term contract. They want to see whether or not he is the real deal. Sal Stewart saying all the right things, Jeff Carr, about I need to prove myself, I need to compete, I will let my agent handle all of those kind of conversations. I hate those words. Yeah. Do you feel like Sal Stewart should be given a contract right now today? Should they lock him up?
Yeah, I don't understand why the Reds have seemingly shunned this trend of signing guys either right when they get called up or right before they get called up or things like that. Like I think of the Brewers with Jackson Chourio. And of course, this year there were two examples, the Pirates with Connor Griffin and the Tigers with Kevin McGonigal. Those two examples, Connor Griffin signed for 9 years and Connor Griffin's looking pretty good. He's had a slower start than Sal Stewart, but he's really starting to get into it. And then Kevin McGonigal for the Tigers is like the odds-on favorite to win the AL Rookie of the Year. They got him for 8 years. Those two contracts are guaranteed. Kevin McGonigal, 8 years, $150 million, and Connor Griffin at 9 years, $140 million. I don't understand why the Reds can't do this. This is a perfect opportunity for them because they have done this with just about every phenom that you can think of over the course of our lifetimes that they have a chance to hold on to for a long time. Like Joey Votto seems like the one exception here. Everyone else, it's like, wow, they got too good and the Reds are now too poor to sign them. And that's because they waited too long to get to the table with them. And I thought it was revealing, Steve, that Mark Shelton had an article about this on Reds.com, and he had quotes from both Nick Krall and from Sal Stewart, but the most revealing quote was from Sal Stewart, where he said, I was open to it. The Reds don't feel like right now is the right time. And he said, which I 100% agree. And then he goes on to say all of the right things that players say. But quite frankly, Steve, it's ridiculous that the Reds don't feel like now is the right time.
This has nothing to do with Sal Stewart, his ability, or his performance. I'm going to tell you what this is about, Jeff. This is the Reds making a calculated decision. They're making a bit of a gamble, and here's what they're gambling on. They're gambling on the new CBA being better for the owners, better for the contracts. They're hoping that when we come out of the other side of the CBA, there'll be a salary cap in place, there'll be a salary floor in place, and there'll be some kind of mechanism, much like the National Basketball Association, where the NBA gives an advantage to a team trying to retain a player where they can offer a little bit more money under some type of maximum contract. I think that is what the ownership is gambling on. So they have positioned themselves. I've been saying this for 2 years. The everydayers will know that I have been saying for 2 full seasons now that the way that the Reds have positioned their contracts have been so aligned with a new CBA and them hoping that the new system benefits them more than handing out money under the old system that they're willing to risk it. They're willing to wait on Sal Stewart. They're willing to wait on some of these other young guys in the hopes of being able to lock up more than one, in the hopes of being able to retain multiple players under a new system that's going to cost them less money. That's what I think this is about. The timing of it not being right, that's correct, but it's about the CBA. It's not about whether or not they believe in Sal Stewart.
It's interesting because, thinking about the CBA right now, the two proposals, the starting proposals, neither one is the one that we will end up with governing the sport. Like whether you're looking at the players' initial proposal or the owner's initial proposal. But you're right. I can see the Reds wanting to wait this out. But then that kind of kicks this can down the road where it's like, all right, if it ain't now, then it better well be next year. Like it better well be they open the floodgates on the CBA, they open up the league year, whatever that might look like, and they better get to it because he is going to price himself out very quickly. And I don't think this is going to be a situation where the Reds can wait till the end of his rookie year or toward the end of his rookie contract to sign him even in a new CBA. Now, I know that there's some talk. I don't see this as actually working through the eyes of, small market ownership where they lower the amount of rookie contract years. But at the same time, I still feel like there's going to be earning potential for top players. I think Sal Stewart's got a chance to be a top player in this league.
Yeah, there's two questions here. There's two players in particular that the Reds are hoping the new CBA gives them some avenue to sign. The first guy is number 44. That's Elly Cruz, because under the current system, with the current way things are done, they they can't sniff around a contract extension with Elly Cruz. And Sal Stewart's going to play himself into that similar category. I'm not saying he's going to be equally as good as Elly, but he's going to be really good. You are absolutely right. So those are the two guys that I think as soon as there's a new CBA in place, the Reds will make a run at.
Could we even simplify the CBA goal further? Because I think that there's a lot of folks that believe that this upcoming negotiation, the goal is to create some sort of salary cap. I think the goal is to take the power away from Scott Boras, because I think that Scott Boras has shown that any agent can do what he does. It's just he does it better than any other agent. And so there's a lot of power with agents right now. And I think that you can even simplify the goals further. It's not even so much like small market owners want a chance at this, players want this, owners want this. It's take the power away from the agents.
Listen, the Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani contracts scared the crap out of everybody except the Mets and the Dodgers. That's really what is going on. Every other owner in the league was like, whoa, time out. That's not gonna, that dog don't hunt, as they say in the South. That is what this is about, Jeff. They are perfectly willing to turn this sport on its head for a season or two to make sure that the Soto contracts, the Ohtani contracts never happen again. That's kind of what this is about. It's going to be ugly, and they're betting. It's a gamble. They're hoping when they come out the other side of it, the system is completely restructured to allow guys like the Castellinis who are interested in making money. Don't buy into the narrative that the Reds are a nonprofit. They're not a nonprofit. Phil Castellini is getting paid. He is getting a paycheck every single time the Reds issue payroll. At the end of the day, is there money on the books where the organization shows a profit? Probably not. But make no mistake, he's getting paid. Those owners that are in similar situations are getting paid. They're just trying to find a way to maintain their money stream. And it's ugly. It's not fun. Finances are boring when we're talking about baseball. But when you want to ask the question, why aren't the Reds signing Elly? Why aren't they signing Sal? Why haven't this pitcher been given an extension? Why have we only talked to Hunter Green? Why? This is why. Because the owners are gambling that it's going to be better for them in 2 years.
And that extension that Hunter Green signed continues to look ridiculous. I mean, like he deals with the injuries, yes, but like how good he is and what the Reds pay him, that is still a ridiculous bargain for the Cincinnati Reds. Let me ask you this real quick, and we'll get out of this topic here. 8 years. Let's do the Kevin McGonigal deal. 8 years, $150 million for Sal Stewart right now. You say yeah?
Yeah, I would do it. Yeah. I would do it. Nick's not gonna.
No. And that's the annoying part with all this, because it's all about Nick and, quite frankly, his position, or at least the Reds' position as a whole, as we get into trade deadline season, it's pretty tenuous. With the NBA Finals here, you still have a great chance to create your account over on FanDuel and get this introductory bonus offer. If you place a $5 wager and it wins, you'll get $150 in bonus bets. With the Reds being off on Thursday night, an interesting road trip coming up. Don't know how I feel either way with Brady Singer on the mound there. Maybe take the over on runs, and that might be irrespective of what the number is. I don't know, but I am looking at some futures here because the Rookie of the Year conversation for the National League still has Sal Stewart very high up the list. In fact, FanDuel has Sal Stewart at second best odds to win NL Rookie of the Year, plus 210, right behind JJ Weatherholt at plus 125. Sal Stewart, the better bat, JJ Weatherholt, the better glove. I think the better bat's going to win this one out. I'm throwing some money on Sal Stewart to win this NL Rookie of the Year. You should too over on FanDuel. Like I said, new users place a $5 wager, and if it wins, you'll get $150 in bonus bets. FanDuel, play your game. Thank you for making Locked On Reds part of your day and making us your first listen, however many listens you listen to us. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for helping us become the number one sports podcasting network. Too many words are in my brain right now, Steve. I don't know what's going on. Thank you. Appreciate it. Join our Everydayer Club. We got a link down in the description below. Let you learn more about that. $5 a month, $50 for a year. Whole podcast ad-free. You get a group chat in the Discord. So much more. What?
This is what happens when you drink too many energy shots before the show.
Right.
Your mouth can't keep up with your brain.
Never again. When it comes to the Reds in 2026, Steve, this is a very frustrating position for them to be in because not only does it feel like they're missing expectations quite a bit, I don't think they're really in a position to be a buyer or a seller. I think they're kind of stuck. And there's some different avenues that we can go down with either route. But when you go down those avenues, they all lead back to the same place. And that is these Reds, they're stuck.
So here's the weird position that they're in right now. If you look at this team and you watch it every day, you know they have real problems. We talk about them every day. They have real problems. They can't declare themselves a buyer because nobody is declaring themselves a seller. They can't declare themselves a seller. They're 1.5 games out of the wild card right now as we record. But the problem is they need to go get a part. We know it. They know it, but nobody's selling. There are no parts to go get because baseball has created this situation with the expanded wild card, and they did that on purpose. And this is the narrative that everybody gets to say for a longer period of time. We're still in it. Come buy a ticket. Come watch this team. They're in the hunt and they're going to be in the playoffs later. You just watch. That's the narrative that Major League Baseball created with this system. And the Reds are caught right square firmly in the middle of it all right now. They can't buy. They can't sell. They've got real problems. They need to get better and they can't do it. So the only thing that they can hope for is that they get healthy and they make a run. And when we finally get to a spot where there are teams so far out of the wild card that they are willing to say they're a seller, they can go get a piece. It's a real tough spot that the Reds are in right now. And there's really nothing they can do about it besides maybe bring in a whole team of more doctors and try and get guys healthy, because that's the only thing that's going to fix this situation.
Yeah, that offer would have to be too lucrative, too rich for their blood. Speaking of which, Mike Trout, Steve, I mean, the Angels are horrible. The Reds could go get Mike Trout.
Oh boy, Jeff.
But I know that, like, okay, so I say that jokingly, but here's the thing.
And we're going to trade Matt McClain for him, right? That's the deal. Matt McClain for Mike Trout. I saw that in the comment section, I'm sure.
That's the part, right? Like, name a player that you see on a bad team that the Reds should go get. My follow-up to you is, who do they give up for that player? Because their options have become so minimal because Edwin Arroyo is needed. Edwin Arroyo is not expendable.
You get one guess as to what the first name said back to the Reds if they called up the Angels and were like, let's take Trout off your hands. What's the first name?
The first name, and it won't be the only name, but the first name would be Alfredo Duno.
And what's the second name? It's a pitcher. It's Chase Burns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And if it ain't Chase Burns, it's Rhett Lowder, and Rhett Lowder might actually have played himself off of that list right now.
Yep.
But
it's Chase Burns. Like, the first name they're going to say, you might be right. It might be Duno, but then immediately you're like, oh, and we're not done yet. And they'll say Chase Burns. Oh, and there'll be somebody like that's where baseball is right now because supply and demand. There is a lot of demand and there is no supply of players available right now because of everything I just said a few minutes ago.
And I'm glad that you said that. So then the Reds should just be sellers. They should join the supply, right? Well, okay. Tyler Stevenson's on an expiring contract.
No trade value at all.
Well, you could Nate Lowe?
Nate Lowe, maybe. That's a solid maybe. JJ Bleday.
JJ Bleday. Brock Burke?
Maybe. Yeah.
Caleb Ferguson? Maybe?
Yeah. That's it.
Anybody else?
That's it. That's it unless you truly want to blow it up and then you trade everybody not nailed down and you try again. And I don't think the Reds are going to be willing to do that. I don't want them to do that. And again, it's not that part of the season anymore because of the structure Major League Baseball has created. You're asking a team that is, again, 1.5 games out of a playoff spot to blow it up. They're not going to do that. The Giants right now, the San Francisco Giants, there's rumors all over the Bay Area right now that they're considering blowing it up because they're so far back and they've been so bad. But even they're not willing to call it yet because they don't want to be the first ones to declare themselves a seller. Like it's not going to happen right now. You're not going to see anybody declare until beginning of July. There's a whole nother month of baseball before anybody's willing to be a seller.
And that's the hardest part about all of this is that it's like, yeah, you could envision the Reds going and getting somebody to help them out. And quite frankly, if you know what that one trade is, I would love to hear it because I think they need multiple trades at this point, which is so annoying. But I think that there is nobody who is offering that. And so it all comes back to this. The most annoying point is that they're stuck and that the thing that they need to happen is that they just need their guys to play better. Because we're going to break this down more succinctly as we get into next week, because I really want to look at all of this. But the big picture, 30,000-foot view is there are a lot of situations that we talked about back in February that if this goes right, if that goes right, if this X factor ends up being a positive, if that X factor ends up being a positive, the Reds are really going to go. Well, not only has all of those 50-50 deals gone bad, there's other things that we thought were good, like TJ Friedel, that have now gone bad. And so there's so many things that the Reds need to fix that it's so ridiculous. And like, the hard part is like, you want to ask questions of Nick Krall and we know where those questions go. So you just got to throw your hands up and say, all right, Blake Dunn's got to be the leadoff guy. And, Gino's got to just start hitting home runs. Even though it's June and he hasn't really hit a whole lot of home runs yet. Like things just need to start happening because
I'm not ready to give up on him yet, by the way.
No, I'm not ready to give up on him.
Save that for another segment, but I'm not ready to give up on him, by the way. Here's the situation, Jeff. Before these expanded playoffs, you got to the month of June and you needed to go get a reliever. You could go get a reliever because half the league was already out of the hunt already. And they weren't quite ready to declare sellers, but the writing was on the wall and moves could be made. That's gone. There's nobody to call. There's nothing to do. There's like, I want to bash Nick Krall for like, he created this mess and he's not fixing it, but I don't know what he's supposed to do. Like it takes two to tango. It takes two to trade. And there's nobody willing to play. Let's make a deal right now. It's a very crazy spot that these Cincinnati Reds are in right now.
If he's calling somebody about their right-handed relief pitcher, they're asking him about JJ Bleday.
Yeah.
Like right now, that's happening. And so those negotiations are going nowhere whatsoever. But I know this. It's really frustrating to watch this team right now, Steve. And they've got a really key road trip coming up that they can't go any less than 500. They just can't. They've got to win 3 out of these next 6. The good news is they're getting some reinforcements on the starting rotation, though, and we'll see them on Sunday. Are we happy about that, though?
you can't watch us here on YouTube, we are available on every single audio podcasting platform that's out there. If you find one we're not on and you need us there, message Jeff. He can probably make it happen for you. That's also where the Everydayer Club lives. Ad-free Locked On Reds over on the audio side. $5 a month, $50 a year. The link for that is down in the show description. All right, Jeff, you teased to it. Rhett Lowder making his return on Sunday after 5, no 4, maybe 3. No, it was just 170 pitch rehab outing. And they are calling him up. That's how
how many pitches?
70. That's how many rehab pitches he threw. Times they are desperate. They are putting him back in the rotation. Now, interestingly enough, Brady Singer is pitching on Friday. They pushed Chris Paddack. We saw Chris Paddack warm up as a reliever for a potential extra inning stint. Now, I don't know if that was a tip of the hat, a show of the hand, but I think that it was. I think Chris Paddack is sticking around and going to be a long reliever / emergency piggyback spare part guy down in this Reds bullpen when Rhett Lowder is back in the rotation. I understand the desire for the Reds to be like, screw it. If he's got to throw pitches, he's throwing pitches up here because things are bad right now. I get that, but every pitcher we have ever talked to has said it's different pitching in the minors versus pitching in the majors. You cannot replicate it. You cannot simulate it. You cannot work on things. When you're on a big league mound, you have to go. I don't know how thrilled I am after 70 pitches telling Rhett Lowder, get out there and get it done. It sounds like a bad idea to me.
Yeah, they've done no favors to him because think about the fact that he even started this year in the rotation after a completely lost year to multiple injuries. And you can say that spring training looked good, but again, spring training is basically the same argument as AAA, where that is not an everyday at bat. You can work on things in spring training that you can't work on during the regular season. And so I think if everything had been equal, he would have gotten going in AAA to begin this season. And now they have an opportunity to give him at least one more start. And even they realize the gravity of this situation and saying, oh, we can't
do it. Can't do it.
And I wonder a little bit, Steve, like, I think that this is definitely doing no favors to Rhett Lowder, but like the Chris Paddack of this all, I would like to say that he's a piggyback guy that can bail out Brady Singer if Brady Singer has a bad start on Friday. The problem is if he bails out Brady Singer, he's not going to be able to bail out Rhett Lowder. And then you're asking one of these two guys to throw a game and basically say, if you're bad, you're bad. And we can't do anything about that because we got one long guy and we got a whole bunch of other guys that we could throw and we don't really feel that good about. Because Lord knows, if I see Caleb Ferguson or if I see Sam Maul in the 5th inning of a ball game again, I'm going to just throw up my hands because I'm like, those are your high leverage guys. Why are they throwing so early?
70 pitches at the big league level is about 4 innings, Jeff. That's about what that translates to. So you're talking about, 5 innings worth of coverage from the bullpen on Sunday.
And that's if he's super efficient.
And that's if he's efficient. Yeah. It's not a great situation. I think now that you've said it out loud and I've thought about it for a second, you do not have the option to use Chris Paddack to piggyback off of Brady Singer. Brady Singer's got to throw on Friday until his arm falls off. It's just what you got to do. And you need Paddack available to piggyback off of Lowder.
The only thing that I think, and it's because he provided a little bit of length to the Marlins and their AAA system. I can't remember how many times he pitched for Louisville before he got called up, but Zach McCambly had done a little bit of long relief in the minors, pitching 2 or 3 innings, not pitching 4 or 5, mind you, but 2 or 3.
So he pitched last night, or 2 nights ago. He pitched 2 nights ago. So he should be available to do that. You're right. He could piggyback off of Singer. And you could,
but even then, you're talking about Singer's still got to give you at least 3,
right?
And maybe you can limit that to 2 times through the order.
I think you have to go. You have to go into Friday start with Brady Singer, and you have to know in your head, if you're Terry Francona, that Brady Singer has to throw 100 pitches, wherever that gets you, and whatever the score looks like, and whatever the results are, Brady Singer has to throw 100 pitches.
That's going to be against Kyle Leahy, who already had a good game against the Reds so far this year. So maybe they can, I don't know, get right against him. Nick Lodolo going on Saturday, though. I do like that. He's going against Matthew Liberatore, so that could be an interesting chance for the Reds to get a dub. 2:15 start time on Saturday. Interesting time there. Also 2:15 on Sunday as well. Rhett Lowder's going against Michael McGreevy. We will get to see Michael McGreevy pitch. He's a pretty good pitcher. So that's going to be an intriguing matchup there. But overall, I know that this pitching staff is decimated, but it just feels
I don't feel good. I don't feel good at all about this series, Jeff. We always try and paint a picture of what the Reds can realistically do. I don't know if they can take 2 or 3 from the Cardinals right now. I'm just not sure they can get that done. I'm still kind of in don't get swept mode. And that is not a great place to be here in June.
No, it's the most annoying comment that he has made in a while, and he's made a lot of them. But Nick Krall said the other day that we're just trying to tread water right now. And that's just what it feels like. I hate that that's what he said, and that's basically the goal at this point. But I do understand where he's coming from. Because like you said earlier on, like, what is he supposed to do? Force another team to make a deal with him? Because nobody else is making deals.
Tito needs to pass out floaties in the dugout. That's what needs to happen.
Maybe he should just be happy with home runs for a change. I don't know.
What is with all the water references? We're treading water? There's Tito Speedos. We're going to pass out floaties. What the heck is going on around here?
I think all the rain did something to them the last couple of weeks, and they're just happy that it's not raining or something. I don't know what's going on, but I am hoping that they turn things around this road trip. Lord knows we're not predicting it, though, so don't come at us when, like, Monday if they go 1-2, and you're like, you guys said, no, we didn't. We did not.
Just don't get swept. Just don't.
That's all we want.
Swept. And that is where we're going to go ahead and wrap up this edition of Locked On Reds. Thanks, as always, for making us your first listen. Listen, we set the bar high around here. Making us your first listen each and every day. Thanks for making Locked On the #1 sports podcasting network in all the land. For the audio folks, go check out the Locked On MLB feed. 3 shows over there to cover Major League Baseball from a national perspective. Sully's got you covered. Former Reds reliever Mike Stanton's got you covered. And the folks at MLB Game Night have you covered, watching every single game, every single night, so that you don't have to for the video, folks. We're going to send you over to Locked On's first ever 24/7 national YouTube channel, where all of the experts of the Locked On network are talking ball 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Jeff and I will be back in your feed on Monday, sooner if something big and cool happens. We're going to keep gathering up all the news, the notes, the rumors, the reports, and the information to keep you locked on Reds every single day.
Oh, I forgot we were going to do a breakdown of cash considerations that the Reds just acquired from Baltimore.
Buddy, there's nobody happier right now than Phil Castellini.